palettes that I really like over this holiday season. There's Colored Rain's Queen of Hearts. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. I think that's like one of my perfect dream palettes. There's the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette that I love. I actually got it, and if you see my haul that may be before this or after this, I feature it in there. There's the Sweet Peach palette that's coming out. By the time you see this video, it will probably come out. And I did a nice little review on it and gave you shopping tips on how to get that palette if you want to get it online or if you want to get it in your store. There are certain techniques you might want to try so that you don't miss out. But I think it might be permanent, but you know how it is, you know, with modern Renaissance palette that keeps on coming out, getting sold out, and then you have to wait months for it to come out again. It's not that fun. So hopefully they won't do it with this, but if they do, to try and get it right away. But anyway, so many palettes coming out this season that I've been so loving. But of course I can't buy all of them. And then Kylie came out with her Kyshadow Holiday Season palette that looks so festive and interesting. I like the interesting color combination. It's festive. I notice that each time she brings out a palette, it's more colorful, which I'm like, go Kylie, go, because everybody, apparently Kylie's very popular, and she would be one of those influencers that could help, not a video influencer, but well, I guess she does do Snapchat and all those things, but she is an influencer. Let's accept that. And with that, I think, you know, anybody that can kind of market and get going color into our eyeshadow palettes and bring in the color and get away from those brownie boring neutrals is my kind of gal. So, well, yes, guys too, but my kind of gal. So I'm all for it. Go Kylie, go. And in that, I'm thinking, you know, I don't really want to buy every palette, so why not shop my stash? So this is a shop my stash, make your own, dupe your own custom palette for the Kylie Kyshadow Holiday Edition palette. And this is what I came up with. So this is my version of the Kylie Kyshadow palette. The reason why I love making, it's a great thing to make custom palettes, is that first of all, you're shopping your stash, right? You're using up your stash. I get to show my singles some love. I have these big palettes here. This one is this is a Z palette of Coastal Scents. See how big it is? Now I've made smaller versions of palettes from that. And then I have my big Makeup Forever. This is the one that I bought in my one of my previous hauls. And so you can see all my Makeup Geek in here, and there was more in there, but of course I pulled some of the singles out to create my custom, my mini version palette. So I have some size for like Z palettes, are kind of like Z palettes. You can get them from Coastal Scents with 12 slots that you can put singles in, and then the 9-pen Z palette, which are great. That way I don't feel so overwhelmed with all these singles when I make smaller version of palettes. Then not only that, it forces me to use those colors together in more creative ways. So it helps me to branch out and get out of my comfort zone in my use of singles, in my use of colors. And it's nice because you can dupe a palette, you can create your own palette, you can take a palette that you like, you know, like the Kylie Kyshadow palette or the Sweet Peach palette or any palette that you like, and dupe it and kind of make it your own version. So like your dream version, if you didn't like that color or you thought it could be better or more pigmented or more matching to your skin tone, you can choose the color that works for you. So these are really nice ways of using your singles if you got a good stash of singles. Now I am not going to be I'm not going to be duping the Kylie Holiday palette with palettes. I'm going to be using my singles. So purposely this video is to shop your stash of singles and create your own palette from that. So those are the dupes I'm going to show you, or the substitutes I'm going to show you. So for me, my palette is made from, because I'm shopping my stash, not everything is going to be an exact dupe. I'm going to be choosing substitutions because I'm preferring right now not to buy another single. I'm going to choose to use my stash. Now, if you creating a palette, copying another palette, and you find, you know, you really want that exact dupe, then go out and buy that exact dupe. But at least you're not buying all 9 of them, all 12 of them, which will end up actually costing more than usually the palette itself. But using up the ones that you have, and then maybe buying 1 or 2 that you really want, then that's a good way. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to be showing you how to do. And the nice thing about creating your own palette, what informs you to in creating your own custom palette, or shop your stash palette, or duping a palette is, and especially if you're duping a palette but you want it to, you know, customize it for your own self and for your own needs. So say you don't want to buy any, so you're not going to spend the money, and you're going to substitute instead of doing an exact dupe to make that palette. Also, you may want to accommodate your skin tone and what your needs are. Say the color in that palette isn't as juicy and isn't as pigmented, and you have one that's exact dupe that is more pigmented, then that's perfect. That's even a better palette. The other thing is, like, say your skin tone like me is darker, so like peach smoothie, a type of color like peach smoothie, which will be a perfect transition color for somebody lighter skin, is not. It's going to be a base color for me. So in order to dupe something like that, I'm going to go with more like chickadee, or even early bird. That's going to show up on my it was going to show up on my crease and be a nice transition color. So those are the ways that you can customize your duping of a palette, or customizing or substituting a palette to your own needs. And say you don't even like one of the colors, you find that you've got something else that works even better and brightens up the whole thing, then do that too. So this is fun ways to dupe a palette or customize it to your needs. So this is a dupe and a customization to my needs palette, and then I'm going to give you exact dupes. And this is what I used in the demo of my dupe. I used Pretty in Pink, Bon Fresco, Emerald, and Balsam. So let's get started, because this thing is exciting. And guess what? I'm gonna do swatches, and I forgot, and I'm wearing a jean jacket. So I've got to take off this jean jacket. Kylie's, so this one here, Kylie's is called Sugar Cookie. So Kylie's is Sugar Cookie, and my dupe for this is Pink Silk by Morphe Brushes. Now, Kylie's Sugar Cookie is exactly like a sugar cookie, and it looks like a sugar cookie, which is a very soft, antique, dusty pink color. Now, the weird thing, I'm not quite keen on her Sugar Cookie because it's too light to be a transition color unless you're very, very pale, and it's too dark to be a brown bow color because it's, you know, it's just a little too dark. So it doesn't really serve that much of a good purpose. So with this, my choice is lighter Pink Silk. So it makes for me a great, it's a dusty pink, and it makes for me a great brow bone highlight. It's wonderful, and it matches so well with the coloring of this palette. And you're gonna see, and then of course I knitted the sweater, by the way, and I don't want to tear it apart, and one of my baubles just got stuck. So this is Pink Silk, so I'm gonna swatch it. And there you have it. So that's Pink Silk. So that's the substitute dupe for that, and the real dupe for that, and this is a pretty close call, it's just a lighter version really of Sugar Cookie. It's just a perfect lighter version, but if you want to go the exact depth of Sugar Cookie, then the dupe would be Nude by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and Max Orb is a perfect dupe for this if you want to go full-on dupe. So the next one that I have is in the palette is it's for Frosty. So my dupe that I chose is Pillow Talk by Makeup Geek again. So this is again not an exact dupe. An exact dupe would be Pure Platinum by Buxom, and Buxom is a really underserved, amazing brand. Of course, everybody knows about the lipsticks and stuff, but they make amazing eyeshadows too, and Pure Platinum is perfect. However, it's not magnetized, but you can put it in palette. You just got to buy one of the little magnets. So this is Pillow Talk, and Frosty is like this perfect silver, metallic silver, and of course Pure Platinum is the perfect dupe. Now I chose Pillow Talk because God forbid I forgot to get a silver. I don't have one silver, blasphemy of blasphemy, in my single stash. So this is like a very, very soft lilac with a silver shift to it. So I think this is a perfect, great substitute for it because it does have a little bit of a color and it's on the lilac side, which I love, and it's also has that beautiful silver shift to it. And when it gets on my eye, it ends up looking quite silver, but with a little bit of that lilac hue in there. So it still gives this very similar effect. So this is a great substitute for Frosty. And this is the one that informed the rest of my palette. So for the Kylie Holiday palette, hers shifts more to kind of a plum burgundy side. It is plum, it's burgundy, whereas my palette looks like it, but it shifts a little bit more plum purple. Just a touch more plum purple, and this is what started off it being a little bit more shifted to the purple side as opposed to the plum burgundy side. So, but it's still a plum palette. So sugar plums. So anyway, so the next one is Chestnut in the Kylie Kyshadow Holiday, and what I chose was Bon Fresco, which is in the Modern Renaissance palette. And Chestnut is like a soft, dusty, antique rose color with a little bit of lilac in there. Sorry, I don't mean to flip you off. And this is my dupe for it. So instead of being on the antique-y, rosy, slightly lilac side, and in fact Cupcake is the perfect dupe for this, also Petal Pusher, both from Makeup Geek. I chose to use Bon Fresco because Cupcake is the same sort of dusty antique rose with a hint of lilac in it. When on darker skin, it looks actually more lilac. So this is actually a perfect dupe for me. Bon Fresco, it's more on the lilac, less on the rose side, but same dusty antique, and it goes better with my palette. So this I love as my dupe for Chestnut. So next is an exact dupe for Mittens in the Kylie Kyshadow palette, and that is Spiceberry. It's a wonderful dupe for that. Spiceberry Mittens I heard is not very pigmented in Kylie's palette. It's not very deep and pigmented, whereas this actually is a bit more pigmented than Mittens. And another dupe for mittens is Makeup Geek's Burlesque, which is even more pigmented and richer than this. And this is like, this one's like in between mittens and Burlesque. So, and of course, I forgot to mention that some of these shadows are made by, this is made by Coastal Scents, and they're only $1.98, okay? Makeup Geek is $6. Then you get Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is $12. Now I'm saying these all in US prices, and I got most of my Coastal Scents on sale for 98 cents. So they usually have 50 cents off. So if you made your palette all by Coastal Scents, then you're really doing good. So anyway, the next one is Winter in Kylie's palette, and my version is called Regalia Purple. Winter is a royal blue. It's like an electric blue or royal blue. Royal blue is like a purple blue. So this is a purple blue. This is more slightly veered to the purple side, whereas Winter is slightly veered to the bluer side. Now apparently that one isn't as that very pigmented on Kylie's in Kylie's palette either. It doesn't have that punch. This one has a little bit more punch, and another great dupe for this, which is veered a little bit more to the blue side, just a little touch. It's the dupe of Winter, whereas this is slightly veered to a little bit more purple, but you know, it's really, by the time it gets on your eye, looks pretty much the same. And that is Center Stage by Makeup Geek for $6. So fantastic. And both of them are brighter than Winter. And then there is Nutcracker. Now Nutcracker is, I'm gonna read it out because that one's kind of a hard one to define. Nutcracker is a dusty metallic plum purple shade. I didn't have a dusty metallic plum purple. What I did have is macaroon, which is a lighter version of, so this is a dusty metallic plum purple, but not in the same tone. It's lighter. So this is macaroon, and you can do that. And in fact, I actually prefer this than if I duped it outright. The outright dupe for this is Not Today by Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I actually prefer this than having it that dark hue. And the reason why is I found Kylie's palette just a little too many dark hues in there, and I think I felt it needed to be broken up with one more light, and this is the one I prefer. So I actually really love this choice. It's exactly the same coloring except lighter, and I prefer it in the palette. I think she should have gone lighter with that color too. So this is macaroon, and it is gorgeous. The next one is, and this is where I veered way off. The next one is Gingerbread, and Gingerbread in Kylie's palette is a taupey bronzy metallic shade. And I veered way off because I didn't have a taupey bronzy metallic shade. There was nothing in any of my stash. I know, slap me, naughty girl. I guess I just find those shades just don't feel, they're too browny, and I don't like brown. I just don't find it does anything for me. But what I did have, and because Evergreen is in that palette, what I did have was Coastal Scents Balsam. Now, this is kind of like a metallic, shiny, how would I describe balsam? A golden green shimmer, almost taupey golden. This is what I've got in the center of my lid. And this is called Balsam Coastal Scents, just $1.98, and it is gorgeous. It will go well with the green, the evergreen color, will go well with the dark plum. It will go well with blue. this, it will go well with this color. I mean, it will go well with, look at it. It goes well with everything. So I like this because it kind of lifts up the palette, gives it more life. It gives it my lid more life. That gives it, like, if I use the actual chiffon or the actual what is it, gingerbread, it wouldn't have looked as good on me. But this just gives it way more life and interest and just kind of lifts up the palette more, and I just think it's even more festive. The true dupe for that palette is Chiffon by Anastasia Beverly Hills. So that's a perfect dupe if you really wanted to dupe out gingerbread. The next one is Evergreen, and Evergreen is a very muted forest green color. I don't want to go that muted. It's too muted for me. So I chose, and I didn't have any muted greens. What I did have, this is beautiful Emerald by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I prefer this better because it's going to show up on my skin as a green, whereas if I used Evergreen in the palette, I know it would turn completely muddy on me and really wouldn't show up as a green at all, and would just not look very pretty. Whereas this will keep its integrity on my lid, and I have it on the inner and outer corner and into my crease. So this will keep the integrity and not go muddy and non-color on me, whereas I know Evergreen in the palette would. So this is lovely. It has a sheen. It is not matte, and I think it will pick up on my skin color way better and do a lot better on me. So this is my dupe, but the real dupe for this would be Enchanted Forest by Makeup Geek. Fantastic color, and so that is the dupe for Evergreen, Enchanted Forest, and my version is Emerald by Anastasia Beverly Hills. So the next one in the palette is Silent Night, and my dupe for it, because I could not, Silent Night is like a deep blackened plum, and I didn't have a deep enough plum in my stash. That's okay. I'm not going to panic, and I'm not going to go out and buy a deep blackened plum. If you do want to, at least you're only maybe buying one or two to like make your exact dupe. I didn't want to. I didn't feel the need to, and so what I chose was Violetta. It's not that deep, but when it goes on my lid, it goes a little deeper, and it serves its purpose, and it will show up as plum better than the deep blackened plum. Silent Night would have just gone black on me. You wouldn't see the plum in it at all. Whereas this will show plum, and that's what I want. I want it to show plum, and I can still use it in my outer corner to deepen up looks. So I think this, for me, works really great. And so it's Violetta by Coastal Scents, just $1.98 once again. And let me swatch this one. And then the match for that would be Shadowy. The full dupe for that would be Shadowy Lady by MAC. So it doesn't swatch well, but it doesn't swatch as that great, but it still works wonderfully. So these are mine, and you see how very beautiful and harmonious that looks. It's fantastic. This will make so many amazing looks. And if you notice, it's slightly more geared, a little more geared to just a touch more on the plum purple as opposed to the plum burgundy, but it's fantastic. Not that much more plum purple. It's really this that kind of gives it that, but I love it. It's like a silver purple. It's perfection. So this is my version, and I love what I came up with as my customized version of the Kylie Kyshadow Holiday palette. And the nice thing about it is that I can get so many looks from this. gives me such creativity because I can just really play around with it. Here's a look right here. I don't even have to look for it. Boom, there's a beautiful look. Right here is a beautiful look. I mean, there's just so many variations of look that I can get from this. And this transition color just works with everything in here. I mean, everything. Look, it went with my green. I used the emerald. I used the balsam in the middle. I used the emerald in the crease, and then I used Buon Fresco on in my transition color, and it looks perfection. In fact, it goes with my knitted top that I knitted myself. So that is my version, and I'm so happy, and I hope you like that I did my version. I also give you the substitutes of the true dupes, so you can go either way. Go shop your stash, see what you can come up with. If you really want to dupe the palette, go for it. You've got the dupes. I will list everything in the description box below. Also, I will list where you can get these Z palettes, like Makeup Geek sells them there. In Nail Polish Canada and Canada sells Z palettes of different sizes. A lot of times when you purchase these, they will send you the little metallic stickers. So say you want to buy that buxom, say you want to buy pure platinum, that buxom silver eyeshadow for the frosty, you can just stick it on the back and put it in your Z palette. So this is really awesome. So let me know whether you plan on duping the Kylie Holiday edition instead of purchasing it. Let me know whether you like this idea, and whether you would like me to dupe any other palettes and show you how to dupe any other palettes. And I would love to know what your palettes that you would love to dupe. Have you duped any? Have you come up with your own dream palette? I'd love to hear whether, you know, what you have done, if you've been shopping your stash, have you been using your singles, and there's so many affordable singles you can get through Coastal Scents. It's so much fun because you have so much more fluidity than just using a strict palette, and you can create your own palettes, and it's just a lot of fun. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, and if you did and you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and a like and share it. And do keep up to date with my videos by subscribing and hitting the bell button, because that will give you notifications for my upcoming videos. And if you're not getting those notifications, do look in your subscribe section of your YouTube, because your subscriber list, because it will list those videos if you miss any. So that's a good way to check up. I use that every day instead of following with notifications, because I've done a lot of notifications, hit the bell button, and a number of people, I follow a lot of people, and they're not showing up anymore since October. They've stopped. Ever since they did the updated the YouTube, suddenly my notifications have just gone haywire. And even notifications that even when I didn't hit the bell, I'm getting like these weird notifications from subscribers that I didn't hit the bell for. So I've just practiced on every day I go into the subscriber section and I check there. So I'm tilting over, I don't know why. And just remember, rock your own kind of beauty and keep on going and keep on glowing. I will.